your books, academics, and everything, there are some it's faster, and then you're retaining everything you read, and that you can also visualize reading, because you remember, okay, this is what I read on this subject, this is what I know of this subject. So I'll say the both are important, but it depends on the person too.
Okay. You want to contribute on this topic? You think listening is better than reading, or reading is better than listening? Please do call us 0903-2229-797. I'll take it again, 0903-2229-797 or 0818-2222-205, 0818-2222-206. So somebody just stepped into the building, and I'm not going to announce his presence by myself. He will do it for him by himself. Oh yeah?
Almighty Fred Knight is in the building.
He's not the Almighty. See him.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, Fred. Did you hear what we're talking about?
Ask me how I'm doing first.
No.
Why are you being so...
Okay, fine, Fred. How are you doing? How's been your day? Let me add Jara for you.
Okay.
All right, that's good. That's
like he's telling you the question.
Sarcastic, choosing the side of listening, basically.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically.
Which is the side that I was telling Jessica about. See, let me. I understand that whole reading is important, which it is, and nobody should ever, contest that reading is good. Reading is good. You need to read.
Yes.
But you also have to understand that not everybody functions properly with reading. Like you can see Fred now.
Yes.
Some people find reading quite boring. Yeah. You open the book. Have you ever had you're not student, yes?
Yeah.
You remember in secondary school? Did you ever get Native Son?
Yes.
Yes. So you remember that big textbook from secondary school? Very bulky. I didn't say I didn't read it though. I read it because I'm quite a theater person. I like all those. But not everybody, like I said, not everybody enjoys that. Yeah. So something like that would be like a monster for them to even focus on. Yeah. When you could easily just go and listen to audiobooks these days. I have an app that I use and it works fantastically well. I just listen to the audio of something exactly, and it gives me the 15 minutes breakdown of how many pages of information. For me, listening is better than
my
reading.
brother is opposite of this reading culture on audio. My brother reads a lot.
Okay.
Like he can tell you that, okay, this week I read this amount of books. I'm like, what? In how many minutes you read one book? He goes around with books.
Yeah.
When he goes going to ShopRite, he's going. He goes everywhere with books. So me, I'm one person who you can buy a book for me. Oh my God!
Is this you confessing you don't have a library?
Maybe I have small one on my phone.
So maybe.
But hard copies, that's a terrible one. Except there's something interesting. You tell me that if I find something very interesting, I'll dedicate maybe 1 week to read that one book, or 2 weeks to read one book. But I clap for those, I really clap for those who read one book in 3 days.
Thank you, Fred.
How do you do it?
Thank you so much.
So I rather do. It's better for me to just do my visuals and what you fix this, what you do this, what you do that. It works for me. That's why YouTube is my best friend.
Jessica is just smiling there. So
I'm just smiling because I can't really relate.
You can't relate.
I can't relate.
I can't relate to Fred either.
Because I, for one, I can read a novel for 2 days. Once has just gotten my interest.
It's over.
Any book is over.
Do you know, I currently saw a book yesterday, and the dedication, I just saw it on TikTok. Somebody posted their dedication. I went to download the book.
There's even one that I've just read introduction. I can't even wait to leave here so I can have that quiet environment and I will finish it today. So you're thinking about sleeping, or okay, that's your own experience. But for me, okay, trying to learn things, or using listening for something like school. If you don't really understand it, you might want to go to the YouTube to learn something different.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't work like that for me. I must still read my notes. Yeah, but to go to YouTube, I think it takes a slower because you have to sit down. Your concentration. You're trying to learn something, and someone is listening.
Yeah, I think this also depends on the kind of book.
Okay.
Right? If it is about school,
academics,
academics, I can read that. But the hardest books for me to read are novels.
Are you serious? Those are the easiest ones to read.
I don't find
no, because I think I've discovered that youths, I don't know if is everybody, of course it's not everybody, but I actually see that youths find it easier to read novels than to read school books.
Yeah.
Because even when I don't know if you ever, let me take us down memory lane. In your just one or so, did you ever read anything called Take Me Home?
Yes.
No, I
read Fred. I read no, let me state pathetically, I read book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4. It was like a series, and I was just reading and reading. And
you finished it.
Bring me mathematics now. In 1 hour to solve, and I haven't done anything about it.
If it's about academics, I can read just to make sure I get my grades right. But story, I said, that's the one I can read, like storybooks. I love storybooks.
Okay, see?
And if the story interests me, about maybe about a person, about culture, about something, and if it interests me, I would like to read it. But anything other than that, I'll find it so difficult to read it. So difficult. That's what when someone says, I'm giving you a book, can you read it and tell me, I think this book is interesting. So, okay, send it to me. When you send it to me, I don't know when I'll tell you that I'm done with that book.
Okay, so we're going to go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Citizen FM Abuja. Now we be the voice of the people.
Okay, so if you are still listening to us, we are talking about would youth prefer reading or listening? But I feel like this is a based on personal experience thing. Would you say so, Jessica? Fred?
Yeah.
Would you say so? Would you say it's based on experience, or this is like something you can map out generally and say youth prefer reading versus listening?
I'll say it's also, I would say it's like mostly it's personal experience.
Okay.
I also say maybe it's like a skill that they have to learn, because some people, they are not just good at listening. It's harder for them. But for reading and listening, they can, grasp and learn faster.
Okay.
So I won't say it's about them anyway. They have to learn the listening skill or reading skill.
I don't think I would advise anyone to be an auditory learner for real. I would advise people to read. As much as I don't read,
you have to improve on both.
Yeah, I don't advise anybody to do that, because I think as Africans generally, we've lost our culture. One of the reasons why we've lost our culture and values is because we don't read, and that is because we don't read and we don't study our cultures and histories. We don't study the storylines and things that happened back then. Everybody is just moving fast, moving, and forgetting things that has happened. So it's better you read if you can. It still depends on what works for people. But I try as much as possible to read, but it doesn't work for me. That's why I rather stay on the side of visuals and audio.
Okay.
But if it works for you, or if you can do it, if you can train yourself and do it, I think it's good to read. Okay,
so I actually took a class. I'm taking a class currently, and we're talking about like learning behavior, and auditory learning is not something that I would say is just learned. It's something that is part of some people. You know how like as children we are drawn to certain activities, right? Not all children respond to all activities the same way. You will notice that, okay, let me give you an example. If you have you even have younger ones or people around you, right? You will notice that some people would rather watch a movie than read a book. Like if something has a book about it, right? The person or the child would rather sit down and watch it on the TV because that's the person's strong point. When they can visualize it, they can understand it. Do you understand? Yeah. But then there's people who who don't even want to see. They don't even need to see the screen. Okay, they're just listening to it. They're not seeing anything, but they're getting what they need to get from it. So it's not like you can't. Excuse me. It's not like you can't develop a skill. Okay, but it's something that is sort of imbued. Yes. Which is there's some certain people that prefer to touch. If you're telling them this is a goat, they're not going to understand what they're talking about. Yes. You have to literally take them outside. If they've never seen a goat before, and like, that's a goat. And then they go, if you can touch it, you touch the goats, that's a goat. So they're like, oh, this is a goat. So I feel like reading or listening, it's a skill that can be developed. But some people have stronger points in one than the other. Exactly. That's how I feel anyway. Fred, what do you think?
Yeah, true. I think that's quite true. But I think one of the I found out that one of the benefits of audio books is that it saves time for me, and you can multitask.
Yeah,
you can do a lot of you can be
because you're still listening.
Because you're still listening, and while you're doing another thing, you are still learning. I met a man who told me that he listens to at least 3 books in a day. While he's driving, while he's eating, while he's doing anything, he can just plug in his earphones and he's listening to any book. He can sit with people, he can be in a transit and just put
the book.
And he's listening to his book. He just learns whatever he wants to learn. So one of the advantages of that, I think, is that time you can do another. You can multitask. You can do different things while also listen to your book, right? And most importantly, readers now.
Why is she kicking?
She doesn't want to agree. She doesn't want to agree with what I'm saying.
No, I agree with what you're saying. That's not the point. I was looking at Jessica and I was trying to gauge her reaction to see if there was any disagreement lurking.
Oh no, that's not.
Okay, so Fred, you're making sense. We're happy for you.
Okay, thank you. Clap for yourself.
Yay. Okay, so I'm going to read a little something. This is from Go Transcript, and it says, reading is actually faster than listening. Jessica is nodding. For example, reading 300 words takes an average of 1 minute, whereas listening takes 150 words per minute. Because of the speed, you may listen to an audiobook in 1 hour, whereas reading a book takes only 30 minutes.
Yes, that's Fred.
So that's actually a point there.
Does that apply to everyone?
Oh, yeah, it's saying it as a general fact. That, and I think that is true. Because if I pick up a book, for instance, and I'm reading, because I'm a fast reader, I've developed a fast reading culture. Okay. So if I'm reading and I'm saying reading is actually faster than listening, I've gone through that in like a second. I've gone through reading is actually faster than listening. I've gotten what I need to get from there. But if I'm listening to it, right, somebody is reading this book to me, the person is going to take their time because they don't want the words to slur into one another. Yeah. And they don't want to confuse who's listening. Also, you know that when you're doing things like audiobooks, you have to take into consideration your audience. Yeah. It's not everyone that is listening that has good ear functions. Some people could
and
actually...
the exclamations and everything.
Exactly, so there has to be pauses. You know, they'll have to even pause. If they're saying, for example, they can't just go, for example, reading, they have to calm down. So it takes more time for you to actually listen to. You might feel like it's fast, you understand, because they've broken down a lot of pages into just 15 minutes. But the truth is that the person who's reading it isn't going to be very, very fast because they have to help you get the information that you're reading from the book. I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying. So, yeah, I think based on this day and age, let's just bring it down, like crush it now and say, based on this day and age, we need to return to our reading culture. because listening is good. It is good. It is good to listen. You should listen to your lecturer because you gain information from them. And some lecturers are very tricky. Now, listen, anyone that is in secondary school that is listening, some lecturers are very tricky before you enter university. They will repeat one thing over and over. That is the thing you see in their exam. They might not even bring up anything.
I have a lecturer
from
like
their course, what they call them, course scheme. It will just come from the thing they keep repeating in the class over and over. And if you're a visual person like me that does not like listening in class, you will just miss it. So you just have to develop both skills.
Yes.
Make sure that you read and make sure that you listen. It shouldn't be that one is better than the other. It should just be that you know how to do both.
And that would just help with the learning process.
Yeah, that will help with the learning process.
Very well then.
Do you feel like we have broken it down? We have psychologically, philosophically, and everything.
Wrapped everything up.
Professors, let's applaud ourselves. Woo! Yay! We did a good job today. So we just listened to Youth Unplugged. Please make sure to visit with us tomorrow because we'll have another interesting topic. We're always coming up with new things to engage the youth and keep minds flowing with possibilities. Well, today was beautiful, and we're going to wrap up now by saying goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Abuja, now we be the voice of the people. Hey, no. Nobody ugly.